So I must say to you, dear sir, please do not hold my student accountable for this. It was never her, nor any pony else's intention to cause this much hurt to either of you. If you must blame some pony, I would ask you to blame me. I am the one that helped bring them here, to take Rainbow Dash back to her home, away from here.
I just couldn't look at any of them, my heavy breathing breaking down in with sobs. My mind was just going on her own, thinking back at all the other things that Dashie and I did together. I took a deep breath as I spoke. Just how could I blame some pony for sending Rainbow Dash here? I sniffled, then cleared my throat as I continued. I nearly choked up as I searched for the words to express myself. These have been the best 15 years of my life. So if anything, I feel quite the opposite. I wish to thank you, Twilight, and the rest of you. Thank you for what you did, though not intentional. Thank you for all that came out of this. And finally, thank you for all my years, my life, and my love with Dashie. I tried to smile at Twilight between sobs, but she looked on the edge of tears herself, and could only look away before she cried herself. Celestia stood in front of the rug she laid on, and walked over to me as I stood.
No need for thanks, good sir. Instead, I wish to thank you for taking care of one of my little ponies. She would have never made it without someone much like yourself.
Celestia closed her eyes and leaned her horn towards me. I didn't move. I wasn't sure what was going on as she touched her horn to my head. I felt sudden warmth rush through my body. She drew her horn away, still smiling as she stepped back.
Thank you.
Then another pony spoke up.
Thank you, sir.
Twilight added, finally able to speak through her tears.
Thank you.
Applejack said.
Thank you, darling, for caring for our Rainbow Dash.
Rarity spoke.
Thank you.
Fluttershy quietly said.
Thanks!
Pinky shouted as she sprung up to me and hugged me. I couldn't help but laugh a little from her extrinsic attitude. Better yet, the rumors on the internet were true. Her mane did smell like cotton candy. I remained silent as I nodded, then looked back to Dashie, who also wore a smile on her face. The ponies all returned to Dashie as Twilight's horn began to glow once more.
Are you ready now, Rainbow?
Twilight asked again, returning to Dashie and starting her magic. She simply nodded as she closed her eyes and awaited the inevitable. It seemed time slowed down as Twilight's horn approached Dashie's forehead. My mind began forcing random memories of us together. I can vividly remember the splashing of the bathtub from her bath times, before she showered herself. I can taste our many failed attempts at baking and cooking in general. I still smell the outdoors from our times at the park, where she was able to spread her wings. There were so many memories that I simply had to shut my brain off so that I could keep myself focused on Dashie. A single tear ran down her left cheek, as I could see her eyes moving under her lids. Her mind was doing the same thing as mine was, forcing our fondest memories all at once. For this would be the last time we ever saw one another. Finally, Twilight's horn touched Dash's forehead. There was a bright light, and when I could see again, they were all gone. All the ponies had disappeared. Through my tears, I sighed in relief. It felt wrong, but it also felt right. She was now the normal Rainbow Dash that belonged in Ponyville. I stood in the living room for several more minutes, just staring blankly at the empty floor that Dashie had been just standing on moments before. Then I looked around the room and took notice at my surroundings. I noticed things were different. Pictures that once held images of me and Dashie no longer hung from their walls. Many of the random personal items of hers were scattered around the living room were all gone as well. I was confused, so I ran up to her bedroom to look. When I opened the door, what I saw instead of her NASCAR and air show posters mixed with her bed and other furnishings was a simple office. A cheap desk with a computer on it, and an ugly-looking potted plant. It took me some time to digest what I was experiencing, for I realized what must have happened. It made sense, but it still stung me in my chest. To make sure nothing happened between worlds, Celestia must have removed any existence of Dashie ever being here, being with me. 15 years. All down the drain, as her existence was wiped from the planet. I felt as though all those years were for naught, wasted, as I wouldn't be able to remember her. And yet, my memories still lingered of her. I could remember everything as if it was still as vivid as when they happened. Then, the thought clicked. She did something with her magic when she touched me with her horn. Did she protect my memories so that I would remember her? Had she done the same for Dashie? I walked back downstairs and into the living room while I thought. On the coffee table sat a book. I recognized it. It was my photo album. I sat down on my couch, opened it to the first page. There was my mother and my father, with me shortly after I was born. I continued to flip through them, looking at my own past. There was a gap after my parents died, but to keep my mother's dream going, I'd picked it back up, making false pictures of happy times and enjoying my life to stick into her book of memories. Then, I opened up to a piece of paper. I picked it up and immediately recognized the handwriting, or more correct, the mouth writing. I speculated this was what she had written down before she left.
Dad, for 15 years you took care of me. For 15 years you loved me, played with me, and made sure I enjoyed my life in a world not meant to house me. I'm not a man of many words, but even though I told you this in person, I felt you needed a written version of it so you would know it was all real. I love you, Daddy. You helped shape me into the mayor I am now. I'm not sure what is going to happen, if I will remember any of this or not, but I want you to know that you did a darn good job raising me, even if I was a bit stubborn at times and short with you during others. With Celestia's permission, I hope to allow you to keep our photos, our memories with you so that you will never forget. Again, I love you and thank you. Your little daughter always. Your little Dashie forever. Rainbow Dash.
I set the note back into the page, flattening it with my hand as I felt the dried tear marks littering the paper. I read the note over and over and over again, until I had memorized. Then, I turned the page, and was greeted with Dashie's Philly smile. So now I sit here, looking through my photo album of our time together, her first bath, her first words, her first drawing, even her first preen feather. All in this book of memories. Everything else was in the house is gone, but what I had put into this book still remains. I don't dare ever change that either. But I will continue to add to it. Wait. Okay, I thought I skipped a line, sorry. I'll continue to add to it, to show that those years with her helped not only shape herself, but helped shape me as well. I am a new man from what I was 15 years ago, changed, given another chance by a sheer miracle of fortunate events that transpired from somewhere I can't even speculate. If I had never gone back and checked that box, if I had done something different than I had, could have changed everything between us. I guess I'm lucky that it all worked out. I can gladly say I have achieved my parents' only wish, for me to be happy. Though I am saddened, I am still happy for the time I had with her. I now sit alone in this empty house, staring at my mother's rainbow picture with a smile plastered on my face. Every time I see it, I think of Dashie. I should be crying. I should feel horrible and want nothing but my daughter back. And yet, I feel relieved to know that everything is all right. She didn't run away or leave on bad terms. She is gone. Home. To where she belongs. And is safe. I look back down to my photo album, turning to the page after our most recent photo. The pages are blank. I still have a lot of life ahead of me, and I plan to make the best of it. For myself. For my little Dashie. The end. You know, a lot of people say that that's the best fan fiction that there is out there. And I'd say that, it might just be the best fan fiction out there. And the best written fan fiction out there, I don't know about that, but it is a tremendous story, and always well worth the read. So thanks everybody for listening again. This is Singlehoffer 1314 signing off.